He does now.
Now he's smiling.
Not even picking my nose.
Commissioner May, Commissioners, 11:45.
All right, we will go ahead and begin with our pre-commission. Do any commissioners have any general housekeeping items that they would like to address before we get?
I don't have a housekeeping. I just have a question on one of the consent agenda items. Is this a good time?
Okay, we'll do that here. This next item. If there are no housekeeping items to bring up, now we will go ahead and move into any discussion on the agenda. Commissioner Hanson.
Yeah, I have a question. This is regarding the Chukar Ridge project, which has us eliminating a mid-mile collector because of Highway 16 plans. And in reading the staff report, it looks like the assumption is that ITD will refuse to provide any through access for mid-mile collectors either under or over Highway 16. The assumption appears to be that since it can't intersect with Highway 16, we have to get rid of it. Is that the case? And if so, I would ask that we pause on this and look back and find out from all of the Highway 16 plans what other mid-mile collectors we have to give up on. Because, when we get rid of those mid-mile collectors, we increase the costs of, our maintenance vehicles have to go much further around. Local school buses have to go much further around, higher costs, garbage, all kinds of things. And of course, there's greater congestion on the arterials. So is this part of, do we have others like this? So I want to raise this issue now so that we can decide whether we should continue to get these questions answered.
Director Wong, would you like to speak to that?
President May, Gary Inselman, Deputy Director of Development Technical Services, I can answer that.
All right, thank you, Gary.
The mid-mile collector in this location is only being eliminated in the Chukar Point development. It does exist to the west, and it will connect to a north-south collector to the west that will take traffic out to McMillan and Eustic. ITD will not allow access to Highway 16 between Chinden and the interstate except at Eustic and Franklin. All other, there will be no other intersections with the highway.
So Gary, walk me through this. So on the mid-mile collector east, I'm talking about east-west collectors. I recognize there's north-south ones. So you basically are going to go from the east, then you have to go north up to mid and connect with a north-south collector. So you're basically combining collectors to go north. Is that how it works?
Yes.
And so are we going to be running into that all up and down this corridor because the ITD refuses to allow overpasses or underpasses of mid-mile collectors?
I don't believe it'll be all up and down the corridor. Some of the areas are already developed, and we've accounted for that. On the east side of the highway, we still have McDermott that the roads will intersect with and then run north-south to our other arterials.
Jim, actually, this came up at the Compass meeting this week. The city of Boise made a big pitch to, not have any intrusions into Highway 16, that it be a limited access corridor. And I think that's the expectation of most people, is that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, Commissioner Baker is correct there. We had the discussion about keeping it an expressway.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm just saying underpass and overpass, not interfering with the traffic on 16. I'm just saying the connectivity that normally goes east-west. So I'm trying to figure out how that works, but I think we should have an ITD presentation on what the plans are for this 2-hour plans for connectivity. We're right over by the county line, so really it affects connectivity into and out of Canyon County. But this really does highlight that there's this wall in terms of connections. And when you do that, you have to sort of funnel all the traffic onto the arterials, that then do have an overpass or underpass or have a controlled intersection. It would be important. I'm sure Compass has looked into that, but it's going to raise our costs in terms of maintenance and so forth. I'm sure it's going to raise the cost of all other kind of municipal maintenance and transportation, not to mention the congestion that's going to happen. So I'd like to see a presentation on the impacts of Highway 16 on our connectivity if this is going to be the case.
I think that would be fun.
Commissioner Hanson, thank you. I will ask for that presentation.
Thanks. And it'd be good to see that connected to the costs of the municipalities, because we're not alone. You know, the garbage trucks and the school buses have to go on those same roads, and I'm sure they may not anticipate what this means. We don't have a north-south controlled highway, so this will be a brand new experience, and I think these unanticipated costs that are going to be shifted to local government is going to be pretty high.
Thank you for following up on that, Director Wong. I think that would be really beneficial to have ITD come and speak to us. Are there any other questions or comments about the agenda?
Yes,
Director Wong?
Madam President, Commissioners, I would ask that you would refer back to staff, defer date certain 1 July, items 3 and 4. I learned this morning that there is a potential chain of title issue on one of the properties, and there may be an issue raised by an adjacent property owner's legal team. So what I'd like to do is have our staff just go top to bottom and come back to you in 2 weeks on both these items.
Okay, thank you. I see no issue with that. Any other comments, Commissioners?
Well, are we
Commissioner Baker?
leaving Chukar Ridge on the consent agenda?
I don't see a need to remove that from the consent
I'm not
agenda.
planning
If we
to
could-
take it off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that, right,
My
we're just
big
going to have,
concern is the whole corridor.
yeah,
and,
and have
this looks
ITD
like-
come in. Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry, Commissioner Hanson, I was talking over you there a little bit, with a little feedback. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off. All right, then hearing no more comments or concerns about the agenda, Director Wong.
Yes, again, Commissioners, good morning. First off, Commissioner May, we have a note from Commissioner Goldthorpe. He is having problems trying to log in. We're helping him with that. We'll see how this goes. So he may not be on
All right.
on today's agenda. I have a couple things for the
Thank
group. This morning, I've directed operations both on development, technical services, and maintenance to do a safety stand down next week to go over precautionary rules of engagement, those sort of things. With all of the team members now coming back, I think it's a great time for everybody to dust things off to make sure we're all on the same page of operations, since some of our team members have been out for some time. I think it's a good step forward. So both Gary and Jennifer will be running those. They'll make the determinations. It's their operations. But we will be taking part of next week's either Tuesday or Thursday over to them for just to sit down and reacquaint ourselves with all the standard operating procedures, safety operations as we go forward, and of course reviewing all of my current rules of engagement requiring operations here at the district. Last night there was an escape and such. Our goats got out at Cole and Victory. Unfortunately, they're back now. They're doing a tremendous job. We're not paying them much, and you know it's a great thing. But that being said, we did have a member, one of our team members, who was out there trying to get the goats back in. Touched one of the wires. He got a little, there's a sign out there that says electric fence on it. He's
dear.
okay, but it just sort of added to the goats escaped, and we got a little shock on that. General Counsel briefed me this morning that, as you recall, that very, very tragic incident on the interstate accident that occurred a while back, where we redid the bridge and did all those great things and stuff. Well, there appears to be another suit that's being filed that's named us as a co-defendant with everybody else. We believe we'll be able to have this moved to the side very, very quickly. But again, it is a tragedy across the board. And then finally, as I think some of the cities are looking very hard at expanding their restaurant operations. What we'd like to do, if you're okay with this, Gary brought to my attention again this morning that parklets might be a great alternative to ensure pedestrian safety, ADA requirements, and keeping infrastructure moving for all users. There's a great article or a series of events from the American Planning Association on best practices for parklets design and implementation. I would like to send those out to the mayors later today as an idea, as opposed to just closing roads and such as an alternative. But as we stated earlier, we will definitely collaborate with all of the different municipalities if they have certain requests like to improve the opportunities for restaurants to get back on their feet. So, I've gone through it. It's a pretty good. It's a pretty good read, and it does address ADA issues and inherent when you do road closures and that sort of stuff. So that's what I have for all of you this morning. I stand for any questions.
Madam President?
Commissioner Hanson.
Director, would you send us a copy of the APA article? That'd be great.
No, absolutely. You'll have it this afternoon.
Okay. That's very timely, Director Wong. Yesterday at the Downtown Boise Association board meeting, there was discussion about the requests from several different business owners that are looking to do that, and they're working on an aggressive timeline to establish that. So getting that information out, I think, will be really well received.
Okay.
And
again,
timely.
It'll go out this afternoon to all of you and, of course, the 6 mayors.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for Director Wong?
I just have one question.
Commissioner Hanson?
Yeah, we have, I saw something come to us about the maintenance on Main and Fairview, the bridge, something to do with the surfacing and so forth, and that's where we have the Greenbelt bike path crossing in a traffic lane that is only separated by some little plastic candles. Can we look into putting real protection on those? Because they really don't protect bicyclists. That's a multi-lane, pretty fast speeding road. Can we put some more physical protection, Jersey barrier type protections along there so that while we're doing maintenance, we're already doing maintenance, let's put something in there to make those truly protected.
Commissioner Hanson, I'm not familiar with that. Could you please send me that?
I think it came from us. Aren't we doing maintenance on the bridges?
We are. Like I said, I have not seen that, but if I'll look into that.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
on
look into it.
on Fairview and Main?
Yeah, the two bridges. Yeah, the old bridges over the. I know eventually they're going to have to undergo some major repairs, but this year I thought it was a report from one of us that bridge maintenance was going to happen on those two bridges, or at least one of them.
Okay.
So while we're at it, let's make those much better protection on the bike lanes.
I will look into that this afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Director Wong. Any other comments? All right, hearing none. Director Wong, do you have any other issues or comments?
Yes, do not try to go camping at Stanley at the first part of June. It's never a good idea.
Noted.
Yeah, thank you.
Isn't there snow on the ground up there today?
Yes, ma'am, there is. Earthquake followed by rain, by sleet, by snow, by snow, by rain, by snow, and then freezing stuff tonight.
Yeah, August is usually better.
Yes. Okay, Commissioners, I believe
All right.
we have about a minute.
All right, thank you.
And Stacy said Kent has joined us.
Oh, very good. Welcome, Commissioner Goldthorpe.
Commissioner May, it's now 12 o'clock.
All right, thank you very much. I'd like to welcome everyone to our June 17th Commission meeting. We will start by having the Pledge of Allegiance. Director Wong, if you would please do the honors.
Yes, thank you. If you all please stand and follow me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you very much. So today I would like to acknowledge another outstanding member of our ACHD team, Bill Thompson, who's an inspector with our Development and Technical Services. Bill was the inspector on call during the most recent rainstorms and had to deal with some significant issues that led to the closure of 10 Mile. And while that was ongoing, he had to ensure also that all the construction in that area was able to safely continue. Not a small undertaking by any stretch. So please join me, everyone, in thanking Bill for a job extremely well done. We appreciate all you do. All right, our first order of business, adopt the agenda. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda are considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless a commissioner or citizen so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda. All consent agenda items are commission action items unless noted. Do we have a motion?
Madam President, I move we adopt the consent agenda with the exception that items 3 and 4 be deferred to July 1st.
Second.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion with a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, no items on our regular agenda, which takes us down to our last item, discussion with public communications. Ms. Spencer, do we have anyone that has signed up to address the commission?
We do not.
All right, going once, going twice. That was short and sweet. All right, everyone, thank you for joining us. We stand adjourned.
Leave the meeting.
Stacy, I'm going to head over.